Hi, you guys. Today I wanted to make a part two um, of what's been happening with my health. I did talk about it in another video. I talked about what was going on and how I changed my eating habits. I started to eat a little bit more organic, switching out products that are cleaner, the ones I am able to find and stuff. So a little recap. I quite a few years back I had a abnormal pap smear and it wasn't bad. They're like, it could go away on its own, it might not, but you're okay. And they did the biopsy and it was okay. Fast forward to God, I don't know, quite a few years later, I got another pap smear and it came out the same thing, abnormal. And they did another biopsy. In this second biopsy, the first time when I got it done, I did not bleed. Everything was okay. The healing process was great. This time around, I was bleeding a little bit. And they said it would go away. The OBGYN said it was going to go away. Just give it a few weeks. And it did not. I started having really heavy periods. Well, not periods because I didn't stop after I got the biopsy done. And so I didn't stop bleeding. And for 6 months. And so I kept going back, to OBGYN. They weren't sure what was going on until they got the results back from that biopsy. And they said the cells were it was getting worse to I guess they were turning into cancer or something, from what I understand. I don't have the paperwork with me, so I really can't. But I know it was progressing. The cells were progressing and stuff. So the OBGYN I was seeing at the time, I felt like she wasn't paying attention to my needs and what was going on. I would call her and let her know, hey, I'm bleeding too much. This is going on. I need something to either control the bleeding or, I don't know, stop it. So I'm trying to remember if I got anything. No, I didn't actually. No, I didn't. And so what happened was on the 6th month, I started with the heavy bleeding, getting huge blood clots that were coming out. And I'm like, okay, this is not good. And I started feeling it too, to a point where I felt so tired. I couldn't walk. I looked pale. And so I had an appointment that day with the doctor, with the OBGYN. And I told her, hey, this is happening. And so she really didn't say much. She didn't really even say go to emergency room, go get checked out, nothing. So I'm like, you know what? I feel like I'm going to die because I couldn't even walk for 5 minutes when I was so tired. I just couldn't do more for myself. At that point, I'm like, I'm done. I'm going to die type of feeling. So finally, and my youngest son was with me through the whole process, so he saw it. I'm like, you know what? We're going to a hospital. I get to a hospital. I tell them what's going on. And so they're like, you're close to getting a blood transfusion at this point due to how much blood you have lost so far. I did not get the blood transfusion, but I did get iron pills with the really high milligrams. So I started taking them. I started feeling a lot better after 2 months. And then after that, I ended up switching with another provider because come to find out that provider that didn't really care, she couldn't do surgeries. I was never notified about that. She never told me that. God knows I could have died and she didn't care. But that's just the way I feel and how things were being seen, right? So I switched with another OBGYN, same clinic, well, not same clinic, but same name, to a different clinic, another location. And so that OBGYN, she did the LEEP procedure. So she ended up doing the LEEP procedure. Everything went great. I want to say a month after the LEEP, I did not get a period. And then I got a period the following month and it was normal. And then the third month, I got a period for about a month. And then I didn't get a period for a month or two. And then after that, it was just weird. So 3 months ago, I started my period. And I, 1 week went by. I'm like, okay, I'm done. Everything's okay. 2 weeks go by. Nope. 3 months up to today. And I haven't stopped bleeding. And they did do, because I've been pushing to get a hysterectomy. Because I'm over this, it's been like a little over 2 years. I'm just done. So the doctor said that I had to get an IUD. That was going to help with my bleeding. It did not. It made it worse. I started bleeding a lot more. I was having really bad lower back pain. And it was just bad. So 2 days after I got the IUD, they took it out. And so then they started me on I thought it was a birth control pill. It's not. It's just a hormone pill. And so I started taking that. That sort of calmed it a bit. I mean, it didn't stop the bleeding, but I wasn't bleeding as much. But I wasn't spotting neither, if that makes sense. And so then I got to a point where I started having really bad lower back pain. Like, seriously, I felt like I was giving birth every single day type of pain. Like, that's how bad it was. Or it is, because I still have it. Even while I'm doing this video, so it's crazy. So I call the doctor's office and I let them know, like, hey, the pill's not helping. I have really bad pain. I feel depressed. And so just with all the side effects that come with it. And mind you, after the IUD or before, I only got a ultrasound done. And they said everything looked normal. The lining of my uterus looked normal. She couldn't see anything. That's the only thing I got done. Okay, so then what happens is, I got the IUD, and then I get the pills, and I stopped them like 2 days ago, because I was over it. I'm over it. I called the doctor's office. I told her what was going on, left a message. The response was, I don't know what's going on, from her, from what I understand, because I didn't talk to her directly. I talked to a medical assistant or an office manager that works there. And that frustrated me because it's not easy bleeding for 3 months with really bad pain and getting that type of answer. So what ended up happening was I go to Planned Parenthood, and I'm like, you know what? I explained everything that's happening. I'm like, can you guys just give me the depot shot? can you guys give me a double shot so I can stop the bleeding? Hopefully it'll stop the bleeding. I don't care. I don't care if I get bloated, if I get, I gain water weight. I don't care. At this point, I just want to stop bleeding. And obviously, they assured me that it could or it could not stop the bleeding. So they weren't giving me an official yes, it will. And so the doctor, the OBGYN, I guess, asked me, have they done any more like pelvic exams? Have they did another pap smear? What have they done? And I just told her, I just got the IUD, I got the pill, and that's it. And I have actually a scheduled procedure in November to get the uterine ablation. Let me tell you, I am scared a lot because from what I understand and I looked up, when they do the uterine ablation, obviously they burn like the lining of your uterus, and that's supposed to help with the bleeding. You could have a little bit bleeding to nothing. And so you could get an infection. And let's say if you're to get cancer of any type in the uterus and stuff, they really can't detect it after because they destroy the lining and stuff. That's what the information I not came up with, but I found in the internet. Again, I'm not a professional. I am not a doctor in anything, so don't, take it with a grain of salt. Do your research. And so at this point, I'm like, you know what? I have nothing to lose. I guess I'll do it. Although that's not what I want. I just want them to take my uterus out. I already had kids. I have a bilateral tubal ligation. And so I don't need it because it's causing me more damage than good at this point. And so, yeah, she did. So at Planned Parenthood, she did another pap smear. I won't know the results till next week. And I need to get some blood work done and stuff. But that has been my journey. And so due to me, bleeding, I tend to get cold. So that's why you see me with this blanket around. And this one, I got it at, let me think, Home Goods. So it's just like a skull blanket. It's really cute. I like it. So, and it's really warm. But that has been my my whole experience so far, and it has taken a big toll in my personal life. I had to leave a job I started a month into, about a month, close to 2 months, a month and a half, due to this health issue. So I don't want to go through that again, and I just hope that the uterine ablation helps. And I am done. But once I get it done, I'll do an update. See you guys later.